So this is the ideal way to approach someone, but if you guys are anything like I was when I was starting off a single platform, there's a ton of people that I wanted to reach that ultimately I didn't have that warm introduction to. That I had to find ways to get these people's attention, elicit a response, and ultimately get them on the phone. And the first place that I always start is email. And again, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but when you cold call someone, you're interrupting their day. They're not prepared for it, thus not receptive. However, when you use a form of asynchronous communication like email, it's on their terms, it's less intrusive, and it's just kind of the professional norm for many industries. I'd say most industries, besides like, I'm actually going to show you what I've perceived to be an effective email based on my experience. So, ideal email, 3 sentences, max 4. It's important to use language and an approach that seems conversational. I like to say as a matter of fact. When somebody's super formal, it does not make me really excited to hop on the phone with this person. People like doing business with people they like, therefore it's important to come off as a likable person that is not sending out 500 of these formal, impersonal emails a day. I think somewhere along the way, some BD sales guru said that you had to basically declare yourself in the first sentence of an email. Like, hi, my name is Scott. I do business development at a single platform. I think this is just a wasted sentence. It's also what everybody else does, so I don't think it's effective. Anybody who's conscientious can see what company you work for from your email address and your signature. So starting off by declaring yourself seems very impersonal to me. I think it's a waste of a sentence, and it's what every other sales guy and his brother does. So it's not effective because it doesn't seem personal. Subject line, get to the point. Again, these people, a lot of people that you will be emailing at large companies receive hundreds of emails a day. So if your goal should be to make your value prop and what you want to talk about that person as clear as possible right from the get-go. If they have to think twice about it and have to try to figure out what you're doing, you lost them. You're archived, you're deleted, somebody doesn't know what you want to do, so you know it probably is not worth the time. And then lastly, it's important to try to, again, I mentioned that you want to try to come off as somebody you want to do business with, and within that vein, you don't want to look like you sent 358 emails out, canned emails out, that look exactly the same. You want to make this person feel special, feel unique, feel like this call or whatever you're trying to set up is important to you. And one way to do that is basically to find a unique way to display that you've done your homework and that this just isn't a canned email. One way that I do that is basically hyperlinking to something related to their site within the text of the email. Or let's say there was a news event or something recently happened with their company, I'll often start out with that. So given these rules of thumb, this is basically an example of a cold email that I found to work. And I guess the context here is that I have a mapping widget API where I can basically put maps on your site. And you're an e-commerce site, and nobody knows where your store is, and I want to help change that. Hey guys, or hey John, I noticed you guys don't have a map widget on your site. When you have a few minutes, I'd love to talk to you or the appropriate person about taking care of that. It's actually something we provide e-commerce sites for free. Yes, Scott. Now, I'm going to walk through each sentence here. So, hi. I noticed you don't have a map widget on your site. So this is a very conversational, as a matter of fact statement. It's not like hey, I was looking on my hit list and it was time to email you, and it's like, hey, I came across your site and I noticed this. It's like when you're at a bar or you see somebody and you just happen to notice something. It's a great way to start a conversation. I think the same paradigm exists over email, and it's been incredibly successful for me. So I like to start something off with, hey, I noticed you didn't have X, or something that basically illuminates where I can come in and provide value. I'm going to speak to the problem in the first sentence so I get their attention right away. And I'm going to link to it in that location where basically I could provide value so that person could click there very easily, and I'm not making them work and say, oh wow, you know what? It looks like we all have a map. Huh, maybe we should get one. Next sentence. When you have a few minutes, again, very casual, I'd love to talk to you or the appropriate person about taking care of that. It's actually something we provide in commerce sites for free. Best, Scott. I noticed the problem. I'd love to talk to you when, on your time, I'm able to provide you a solution. What has been my response rate? Oh, the subject? It would have been mapping widget, or map for your site. Just like very straight to the point. Like when I'm talking menu, like I did all these menu syndication content deals, menu content, menus for your dining guide, straight to the point. So I send this email off. I'd say realistically a great response rate on this type of email is 30%. I think the biggest fail that I see amongst people that are reaching out cold is their failure to follow up, and their failure to follow up effectively. Because our inboxes are all overloaded, and people just assume that once they've sent an email out that their job is done, and that when they don't hear a response back, the person was interested. In reality, a lot of times somebody doesn't respond to you because they forgot, or it got lost in their inbox, or they just never saw it the first time. So the number one thing you can do to increase your response rate is to follow up, and to do it in a way that's effective and easy for this person. The way that I like to follow up is I like to schedule it. The first thing that I'll do after I send an email, we'll pull that email up and I'll use two tools. One's called Boomerang, and the other one's called Follow-Up CC. And basically, what these allow me to do is automate the process of following up by pinging back the email to me if no one has responded. So I'll typically follow up with somebody in anywhere from 3 to 7 days if I haven't heard back to them, and I'll be prompted to do that by using Boomerang or Follow-Up CC. Are people who are familiar with Boomerang or Follow-Up CC? No? I'll show you real quick what it looks like. Okay, so in my inbox, pull up my Gmail here. I'm going to click Compose, and I'll go through. I'll just do Boomerang in this instance. So basically, I'm going to send myself an email. Scott, read this. Please respond. I'm going to send this to myself. Now I'm going to view that message in my sent box, and I'm going to boomerang it if I don't hear a response in 4 days. What's going to happen is, in 4 days, that message is going to come back to me, get pinged back to me, and that's going to be used as a way to remind me that, hey, I haven't heard from this person, it's time to follow up. Follow-up CC has similar functionality where I can basically BCC in the send in the BCC field 3 days, 4 days, whatever the time at followup.cc, whatever the time interval is, to follow up to that email. And once I do that, instead of constructing a new email, I reply to the original. So I'll find that email, I'll reply, which will send it back to that person. And the reason that I do that is if I send another email, I'm asking that person to go and dig for the first email to get the context. And then I'm having to restate what I had to say. And again, this is all work that I'm making this person do. The easier you can make it for the person to respond to you, the higher the likelihood of a response. So I'll reply to the original email and I'll just say, hey, I just wanted to follow up my email below regarding providing you XYZ, in this case a map widget. Is this something you've ever considered? Best, Scott. and I'm just asking him a question. It's 2 sentences, super simple. All he has to do is scroll down to see exactly what my value prop is. And I'd say that 50% of the people that don't get back to me, get back to me when I reply. The biggest thing you can do to increase your response rate is following up. And Boomerang and Follow Up CC are 2 excellent tools to make sure to do that. Okay, so you've sent the cold emails. You're still not getting a response. Another thing that you can do to prompt your response is what I call calling up. Now, calling up is basically creating a reference or something that signifies importance in the email. And really what it comes down to is finding the boss or somebody more important than the person you're trying to reach, and then getting that person to basically say that the person you're trying to reach is in charge of this. So I will do an informational cold call to somebody's boss, and simply, like we went over before, ask them, hey, do you know who's responsible for this initiative? And I already know who's responsible for it, but I want that person to tell me that the person I'm looking for is responsible for it. Once they do that, I can send an email to that person that I'm trying to get in contact with, that their boss told me that I should talk to them. Now all of a sudden, I've created a reference point and something that inspires urgency for this person to get back to me. There's a higher incentive for him to respond if his boss said so than some random guy cold emailing. And really all I did was call the boss and ask, hey, do you know who this is? Even when I get the boss's secretary, I can still say, hey, I was told by the office of your boss to speak to you. It inspires urgency. So just a very simple template here. Hey Joe, hey John, Joe, the CMO, directing you as a point man for all things social media. Our company has developed a tool for social media managers to manage their entire presence in one place, saving them hours of time each week. When you have a few minutes, I'd enjoy the opportunity to connect, see if we'd be able to give you some of that precious time back. Scott. Most important thing about this email is the title, social media marketing via your boss, and the first sentence that says, provides the validation that somebody important that you report to said that you were the person to talk to. When you can do this, odds are that person will respond to this email before saying, hey boss, why did you tell this person to talk to me? There's no, like, it could potentially make them look bad because this is their job. So this is a very effective thing that you can do that ultimately isn't that high risk.